Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Chiz, my pronouns are they, them, and I do things on here sometimes. Today, I am going to be sewing for the first time. I'm pretty nervous. I have never sewed something before, and I'm so excited. I am a complete beginner, and all the beginner sewing projects that I see are coming from people who have been sewing for a long time, which is not to say that they're bad videos, but it doesn't really show like the experience of being a beginner and like some of the struggles you face or some things that do not come naturally to you. I'm basically going to be modifying clothes that I already have. I'm not like making a pattern from scratch or anything. I hope that it's valuable in some way, or at the very least I hope that you enjoy it. And yeah, let's get started with the video. Alright, the first sewing project that I took on was to try and make these jeans into wide leg jeans, which they are not, as you can see. These jeans are originally men's jeans from Walmart, and they used to fit me, but they got too tight. So my plan is to cut down along this seam and put in some extra fabric. I will be getting the extra fabric from this pair of jeans that I got at the Goodwill bins, and they did not fit me. So the first thing that I wanted to do was to rip open the seams, and I did not have a seam ripper, so I was planning to use a razor blade, and that was not very fun. I tried a bunch of different things before I figured out what was easiest, but ultimately what would have been easier is just buying a seam ripper. I ended up with a bunch of tiny cuts on my fingers, and it wasn't that bad, but I could have done without it. Also, I resorted to just doing it from the outside because that was like easier for me with what I had. And I put paper around the razor blade so it didn't cut me as much. My original plan was to cut these pants in like a triangular form, but I actually didn't end up following that. Also, these pants are shorter than the blue jeans, so I ended up having to like attach it to make a longer strip that would be like the length of the pants that I'm sewing them onto. So that ended up being a little bit more work. But this is like a rough idea of what I was going to do. So I ended up sewing all three of the black strips together for each leg. And also I was really eager to actually start using the machine. So the first thing that I did was a little test patch. So I recommend taking some fabric that you're not using, that's the same material as you're gonna be using, and just test it out, especially if it's your first time. I just wanted to make sure I had everything set up correctly and that it was not gonna come apart, the tension was good, and yeah, I recommend doing that before you start sewing. And now I'm just gonna sew the jean pieces together. And I was so excited because it was my first time like actually using this machine to do something that was going to become something, and I was having a blast. I do recommend pinning, which is what I did not do at this point. I did not pin it together, and so it was kind of a little offset after I sewed it, even though that's not how I started. So I do recommend pinning it first. But this is what it looked like, and I was so stoked about it. So I continued that until I was done sewing the black pieces together. Okay, this is what we have. This one is longer because I added something at the top because it was weird, but I fixed it, and now I'm just gonna cut them to be the same, and then I will sew them onto the jeans. So I got the black pieces similar enough by just placing one on top of the other and cutting and then exchanging it because the other one was wider in some places. Okay, this is what our two pieces look like. They look equal enough to me, so I'm gonna get to sewing. I feel like I have unrealistic expectations for these pants. I feel like they're gonna be perfect and exactly what I want. I need to temper my expectations, but I really can't. I've been trying. So my next course of action was to pin things. Yay, my favorite part. Not, oh my god, pinning is so annoying. This was the hardest part of the whole process of making these pants. This was the hardest part. And I honestly feel like I could have gone without it, but maybe I needed it. I think I needed it. It serves as a good guide. It's good practice. Yeah, but ooh, not fun. And it took me so long for no reason. I think it took me like upwards of 30 minutes
to pin these two things together, but I finally did it. Oh my god, I finally did it, and I'm so excited to sew it together. That's exactly what I did. I sewed it together where it was supposed to be, and now I am going to show you the results.
Okay, the first thing I noticed about these pants is how heavy they are. They are like twice as heavy as they used to be, which makes sense, but it was still kind of a surprise. And this is what they look like. They look like this. They're certainly wide leg. They're a little too wide up here, and it looks kind of strange from the front. I think they look really cool still. And if I cover up this awkward part, I think they look really cool.
Okay, the next thing that I wanted to try to adjust was this romper. I've had this romper for I think almost a year or even over a year, and I haven't worn it because it's too tight. It's just not comfortable to wear. It like is too up. I don't know how to explain it, but it basically goes into my butt if I lift my arms, and it is just not a comfortable thing. So I was going to try to make it into a dress, and yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So I watched a tutorial on turning shorts into a skirt. Since I was only going to be adjusting the short part, it was just easier to follow. And this is honestly not too difficult. It's easier when you do it than like when you watch it. So hopefully that's encouraging. But I will link the video that I use in the description. Also, I am using eyeliner to draw the lines because I have nothing else. My next course of action is to sew along the lines. I switched out my needle for a lighter weight fabric from when I was doing the denim, and it was pretty straightforward from there. I also got this lace material from the craft store, and I kind of bought it on a whim. I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with it. And I think it would be nice at the end of this dress, so we'll see how it looks. So I got to work sewing it on there. At first I pinned it, but I don't think that was necessary, and it was honestly kind of a waste of time, but it was pretty easy to sew on. It turned out that the lace I got wasn't enough, but I eventually went back for more.
Okay, I just finished the dress and I haven't tried it on yet, so let's do that. I should have tried it on before I put the lace trim at the bottom, but YOLO. We'll see how it looks. Oh my fucking god. I am in love. I love it. I didn't have enough lace. I ran out. I'll just get some and parch it up like later, but it is so beautiful. Look, because I should have ironed this first, but I was so eager to try it on, and it is perfect. Pretend that this has lace too. And I tied the corset thing at the back. It's so cute. Oh my goodness. Okay, this one's good. I was thinking about putting lace around the sleeves like a little bit. I might do that, but I think it looks really good now, so we'll see what I do. But woo! Alright, my last course of action is to turn these pants into a skirt, and I'll show you. I'm just going to be following a particular tutorial, like verbatim. They are like a really cool like plaid print, which I think would look really cool as a skirt, but they are so skinny jeans. They're not my style. I bought them online, and it was put on a mannequin that had no legs, and I couldn't tell. I thought it would be loose fitting, like it did on the mannequin with no legs, so that's my fault. But I really like the material, so I'm glad I found a way to repurpose it.
So I brought this skirt that fits me really well and that I really like. So I just brought it as a reference just to see what measurements they used and if it was consistent across the board, if they made it longer in certain places. And it was consistent across the board, so that was good to know. So I tried to follow those same measurements of 9 inches across the board. I don't know why I keep saying board, but that's how it is now. I tried to follow 9 inches, and I had to take off the pockets, and then I decided to only take off one and to just cut it longer so I could keep the other one. And I was essentially following the tutorial verbatim. You take the legs of the pants and you join them all together into a really long strip, and then you pleat it and sew it on to the part that you cut off. I changed my needle back to one meant for a heavier set fabric don't forget to do this because you will probably break your needle if you don't, or if you have it to a lighter one. I broke my needle twice, so I had to buy a whole new box, and the person at Joann's was very helpful and explained it to me, and yeah, it was really cool. So I kind of know a little bit about needles, but the sewing part is the fun part. I want to say that the most difficult part of all of this is pinning. I do not like pinning. As much as it is satisfying to poke the hole through and put it to the other side, I do not like it. Sometimes I put the pins the wrong way, and that's annoying because then you have to go to the opposite side of the fabric and pull the pin out and then keep sewing, and I don't like it. I just want to sew. So anyways, it is important to get your pins really good so that the sewing process will be easier. I had to look at the video to see how they pinned it because I thought I was doing it wrong, and I was. And once I did that, it was time to sew, and I sewed and I sewed and I sewed. I did not show it here, but I had to go back and undo something and redo it because I didn't do it well. So yeah, just make sure you got everything in order before you sew. And yeah, that was pretty much it. Next step was to iron. It made the pleats lay flat, and it made it look really good and just way better than it was looking before, even though it was already looking pretty good. So I will show you guys the final result.
Okay, this is the skirt, and this is a little outfit to go with it. I have no words. It's amazing. It's great. I am so happy with the way that it came out. It is so cute, and I made it longer in the back so it doesn't like go up in the back, and it actually turned out pretty well. And it's also like, it has like motion, like, you know, I don't know, it's not like very stiff. These are what it looks like up close. I also added this like zigzag stitching at the end to make sure it doesn't come undone. And overall, I really like it. I would wear this more often now because I never wore these pants because of how tight they were and uncomfortable. And now I can wear them like this. And I'm really happy, very pleased with the results. And yeah, I would encourage anybody who wants to try this one to try it. It's very satisfying and fun. You have reached the end of the video. If you're here, thank you so much for watching. If you are on the fence about sewing, or you're like me and you had your sewing machine for over a year before you actually used it, this is your sign to take it out and start sewing. Let me know which one of the modifications was your favorite. Mine was like the skirt or the dress. I love both of them. They're like, but maybe the skirt. I think I'll go with the skirt, but let me know yours. Thanks again so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.